With 11 days to go, I gotta tell you, to this reporter, it feels a little familiar because I remember these scenes from 2016 when Hillary Clinton rallied in Philadelphia with Barack Obama and Bruce Springsteen. That event was basically a victory rally that was held before all the votes were cast. And we all know how it turned out.
Yes, Casey Hunt at CNN lamenting, oh no, she's having flashbacks, nightmares. It smells like, well, not victory. And now, James Marshall Hendricks. Bow, 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 bow. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. I was watching CNN this morning, and they've got a little fragmentary quote from President Trump's speech saying the U.S. is like one big garbage can. Classic demonstration of out-of-context theater by the frauds at CNN, a disgraced former news organization. President Trump was talking about the Democrats treating the country and the rest of the world treating the country with our open borders like a garbage can, like an open-air garbage can, because they're dumping all of their refuse, their wretched refuse from their teeming shores, from the Venezuelan gangs, Tren de Aragua, and the Mexican cartels out of Sinaloa and elsewhere. Latinos, you got to say with an accent, you got to, because the Democrats, they taught us how to do that. The Latinos, anytime you get to a word like that. Sinaloa, Tegucigalpa. You have to talk like that when you get to key words. Well, good Friday to you, and welcome back. We remain at 888-630-9625, and it's crazy, but the Democrats, they're calling everybody Nazis. It's whack-a-doodle-doo. Everybody's a Nazi. Why are there so many Nazis wandering around America? They're going to have a big rally at Madison Square Garden, and it's going to be like 1939 all over again. Absolute craziness. You know, the Nazis, that was February of 39, is that what they're saying? And that was before the invasion of Poland, although you had the Sudeten issue. I know everybody's familiar with the dates of the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler annexing the Sudetenland, you know, and you got Putin doing that kind of stuff now with Ukraine. Well, they're mostly ethnic Russians, and that's what the Sudeten annexation was all about. They're mostly ethnic Germans, and so you had to protect them from and all this crazy stuff. But the Democrats, they're a crazy bunch. There's no doubt about it. They are crazy, and they're calling everybody Hitler. They're calling everybody Hitler, and President Trump in particular. This is the new sheet music that has been issued. The news media dutifully gobbled it up. The New York Fake Times, talking to General Kelly. General Kelly played along. We played audio yesterday for you from the audio version of the interview released by the New York Times. And General Kelly either falling into their trap or happily playing along with the anti-Trump, everybody's Hitler. And honestly, you get Kamala Harris in the White House, General Kelly. Honestly, this is what you're looking for. 4-star Marine Corps General, Chief of Staff to the President of the United States. I know you didn't like him. You don't like your very different people, very different backgrounds and all that. But honestly, so crazy, man, crazy. The talking points, and they're the party of unity, unless you're Hitler, in which case, and tens of millions of Americans are Nazis and fascists. I don't even know if we can count how many times the fake news media using those words in the last 48 hours, because the Democrat Party said, hey, boy, we're doing a lot of polling, and it turns out nobody really likes us. Nobody likes Kamala. Nobody thinks Kamala makes any sense. They don't think the economy's good. They think the open border is bad. The gang the infiltration, the wave, the tsunami of gangs, and hey, we had 100,000 fatal drug overdoses last year. That's a number greater than the number of Americans that died in the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and all post 9/11 wars combined. and that's in 1 year. Pay no attention to that. But with that said, let's get to a bit of the Democrat Party's rhetoric, because they're looking for your vote. And if you're not planning on voting for them, then you might very well be a Nazi, because these are your friendly next-door neighbors. And if you put a Trump sign in your front yard, it'll be destroyed and burned and attacked, and your house may be too. And if there's a bumper sticker on your car, it may be attacked. And, President Trump wins. Maybe we should start like a drinking game or a lotto of some kind. How many police cars will be burned in the United States when Donald Trump wins the presidency back, wins it again? How many? How many police cars will be burned? It doesn't have to be we could do a specific number, and then whoever gets closest. Because the problem is the Democrats don't actually count how many police cars are burned, do they? How many businesses are burned? How many businesses are looted by Democrats? They're very, very upset about the day that Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed, though, by a racist cop. All right, now let's go to the crazy people. So here is CNN soundbite number 2. Caitlin Collins, and talking about General John Kelly, because he did an interview with the New York Times. And they said, hey, we called you because we want to call Trump a fascist, because this is the new Democrat Party directive, and the New York Times, giving tongue baths to any Democrat that comes along, sleeping in subways and things. They give them tongue baths. But never mind that. So, and it was amazing. General Kelly's on the phone with the New York Times. The New York Times guy says, so is Trump a fascist? And General Kelly read his handy, right in front of him, definition of the word fascist from the dictionary.
What do you think? Do you think he's a fascist?
Is he a fascist? Normal question.
Well, I'm looking at the definition of fascism.
That's amazing, isn't it? He just happened to have it right in front of him, and they just started talking right then. It's almost like it was coordinated ahead of time or something. Isn't that amazing? So that was the starting point with Caitlin Collins on CNN. And she's talking to Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. So it's all teed up. It takes place organically, naturally. Hey, here are the Democrat Party issued talking points today. Trump is a fascist. And Kamala Harris said, yeah, because Manderson Pooper asked Kamala, is he a fascist? And of course he's a fascist. And you would have stumped her like nobody's business. Would have been hilarious if you asked her to define the word fascist, because her mouth would drop open. She'd bat her dumb eyes. And so this is what it sounded like with Hillary Clinton on CNN.
General John Kelly has said that his former boss meets the definition of a fascist. And I know you've said before that recently you said that Trump uses blatantly fascist rhetoric. Do you agree with John Kelly, with Vice President Harris, that Donald Trump does meet the definition of a fascist?
That's a really good question.
Caitlin, I do. Sadly, here in America, the term fits.
Didn't see that one coming. Gosh, wait a minute. You agree with the Democrat Party issued talking points? Caitlin, you little stooge, you little poodle for the Democrat Party. What an embarrassment you are to thinking people. How sad for you. And it's fascism because they're going to have a rally in Madison Square Garden where, ironically, Hillary Clinton's husband received the nomination for the presidency of the United States at the hands of the Democrat Party. Wow, that's kind of amazing. The party of slavery and the Confederacy and plantations and bullwhips and lynchings and standing in schoolhouse doors and Jim Crow laws and never mind all that. Hillary wasn't done.
And, one other thing that you'll see next week, Caitlin, is
no interruption.
Trump actually reenacting the Madison Square Garden rally in 1939.
The Madison Square Garden rally of 1939. Wow, I can't believe that. Trump's going to reenact that. There was a rally at Madison Square Garden in 1939. Not to be confused with the Democrat Party's convention in New York City in 1924 called the Klan Bake, where they had thousands of uniformed KKK members marching in New York and in Madison Square Garden. And that was the Democrat nominating convention. That was their convention. Isn't that amazing? But pay no attention to that. Caitlin Collins doesn't know anything about that because she is low IQ theater, right? And that's the thing about these guys. Wah, wah, wah. And also, it was the Nazis. Later in 1939, that's when they really became the Nazis. But never mind that. That's not important. I don't have to explain history to you. I know. Remarkable stuff. The invasion of Poland, September 1st, 1939, really got World War II going in Europe. And what was it? It wasn't long before the progressive Democrat Franklin Delano Roosevelt set up concentration camps for Asian Americans, mostly out west. Thousands and thousands and thousands of American citizens, in many cases, Japanese Americans, thrown into concentration camps because the progressive Democrat Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he's on a coin. He threw all the Asians into concentration camps. So who's your fascist now? Got that. Hillary Clinton.
President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists in America were lining up to essentially pledge their support for the kind of government that they were seeing in Germany. So I don't think we can ignore it.
What, 1939? We can't ignore 1939? Was it the Democrat convention where these Nazis showed up? Because, you guys, they were the Socialist Workers' Party. And again, it was before the Nazis had invaded Poland, which got things going in Europe. The Germans had been crushed and their economy eliminated after World War I because people were kind of miffed with the Germans. People were a little annoyed that they started that World War I thing. But that's it. So the neo-Nazis, and she's saying, if you're a Trump supporter, you're just like the Nazis. And, she called them neo-Nazis, which made me laugh, too.
President Franklin Roosevelt was appalled that neo-Nazis, fascists.
Now, they're neo-Nazis now. Then they were just Nazis. Even though Nazism was new and was the Socialist Workers' Party of Germany, and, of course, the head of the fascist movement in Italy became Benito Mussolini, Il Duce, who was one of the leaders of the Socialist Party in Italy before he jumped ship over to the Fascist Party. And so the Socialists then, they murdered 100 million people in the name of bringing about utopia in the 20th century from the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution, St. Petersburg forward, through Pol Pot and all that. Now the Democrats just abort more than 1 million babies a year and harvest their organs, and they use them for medical purposes. Where's Dr. Mengele when you need him, Democrats? James Carville, the insane Cajun, isn't that what they call him? The insane, mentally ill Cajun. James Carville, who comes from the Clinton administration. That's a big surprise. And he's out there talking about, the same thing. He was on MSDNC with Jen Psaki, who went right from the Democrat Party and the Biden White House, where she was spokesmodel, right to MSNBC, where they pay her 7 figures to be a fake journalist. She doesn't have a journalistic background. Never mind any of that. And James Carville was on with his pal Jen Psaki, talking about this terrible rally at Madison Square Garden.
I didn't know that he was going to schedule a rally at Madison Square Garden to mimic the Nazi rally of 10 February 1939.
Yeah, that's mimic. So did the Democratic nominating convention where Bill Clinton was selected, who you worked for, was that also a mimic of the Socialist Workers rally in 1939? You people are filth. You're disgusting filth, honestly. I've got more of these people, too. That's right. It's Friday. Got to get ready for the weekend. Eden Pure is having their famous buy one, get one deal on Thunderstorm air purifiers. BOGO. When you buy one Thunderstorm, you get one for free. No matter how many you buy, you get an equal number for free. You buy 2, Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifiers, you get 2 for free. You can give them as gifts. You can put them all over your house. You buy 5, you know how many you get for free? I think you see how this goes. The Thunderstorm will help completely eliminate any smelly odor in your home or office, like, kitty litter boxes and left-wing protesters. Try to keep them out of your house. Anyway, cigarette smoke and your mother-in-law's cooking. The O3 molecules seek out and destroy odors even behind and underneath furniture. Nothing can hide from the Thunderstorm. And now, for a limited time, Eden Pure's Buy One, Get One Free sale is available to you, so don't wait. With thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet, it works like a champ. We've got 2 of them at home ourselves. People are buying several for around the home and even as gifts. That's a good idea, too. Christmas is coming 2 months away today. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com and use the discount code ChrisBogo, ChrisBogo. That's buy one, get one, EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ChrisBogo. Yes, sir. Yeah, everybody's Hitler. And you're going to have a rally at Madison Square Garden? In 1939, guys in Nazi uniforms went there. Yeah, and then Bill Clinton was nominated there, you fascist pig dog. Now, the Democrat Party rhetoric, and remember, President Trump was shot once and winged just a few months ago. Second would-be assassin stopped outside of his golf course in Florida. Remember that Congressman Steve Scalise was shot and nearly assassinated by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer named James Hodgkinson on a baseball field in Alexandria, Virginia, where the Democrat Party activist and Bernie the Bolshevik, Bernie the socialist, has followers like James Hodgkinson that came in from many states away to try to massacre Republican members of Congress, you fascist Nazis, you lunatic. And you may remember Democrat historian Michael Beschloss 2 years ago in 2022 about the midterm elections.
What was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
Now, that's with Joe Biden 2 years into his presidency. He's saying if the Republicans took control of the House of Representatives, it'd be a brutal authoritarian regime. Your children would be arrested and possibly killed. This is what these fascist Nazis go around saying. They've been saying it for years. There's a terrible mental illness out there, and it's been identified by medical science as Democrat Party membership.
You quoted General Milley calling Donald Trump a fascist. You yourself have not used that word to describe him. Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, she does. Can you define fascist, Kamala? Can you tell me what today's date is with your tiny little brain? Do you agree with Michael Beschloss that if Republicans have control of either house of Congress, that your children may be killed while they abort 1 million children a year? No, pay no attention to that. The Democrats they are a danger to our democracy. They're a danger to our democracy, to our republic, our constitutional republic. They are anti-democratic, undemocratic. They're not on our side, and I mean the United States of America. Let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Bill calling from Chattanooga, Tennessee. William, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Thanks for taking my call.
You betcha.
I wanted to talk about, they keep talking about because Donald Trump's going to have a rally at Madison Square Garden, and you made reference to it earlier. The Democrats have held their presidential convention rallies at Madison Square Garden in 1976, 1980, and again in 1992.
Yep. And in 1924, when they had the Klan Bake, that was a Democrat convention also. And also at the old Madison Square Garden.
Right. That's another thing I was going to say. The Garden now is at, it's above Penn Station on 33rd Street. The old Garden was on 50th Street. And so it's a different garden as well.
Nevertheless, and notwithstanding, the Democrats have had many rallies and political conventions, old and more recent, with Bill Clinton again being the nominee at Madison Square Garden, the bunch of fascists that they are. And you know, what do you make of this rhetoric, Bill? This everybody's a Nazi, and yeah, Nazis had a meeting in 1939 at Madison Square Garden. Now you're meeting there. You're Nazis. What do you
Right.
even say to that?
I just think that when they have nothing else to say, they fall back on you're either Nazi or a racist.
Yeah.
And
The Washington
their-
Examiner has a piece today. The wonderful Washington Examiner has a piece today on how the Democrats have been calling Republicans Nazis going back a long, long time, really just after World War II. And they call everybody, they call Nixon a Nazi, they call Reagan a Nazi, they call everybody Nazis because it's a mean name that you call people. And and while they're shooting your neighborhood kids and aborting millions of children, especially black children, they love to, and harvesting their organs, they love to go around calling people easy. And then they talk about the tone of the conversation and about unity in the next breath, like they're mentally ill people.
Right. And in 1939, I know they were wearing Nazi armbands, but I think they referred to themselves as the German-American Bund.
The Bund. Yeah, but, the Nazis were on the rise, and again, they had not invaded Poland, really officially launching World War II in Europe, and the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler, the ultimate bad guys in certainly the modern history of the world and of the 20th century forward. They're the key bad guys. So the filthy, rotten, baby-killing Democrats, the carjacking lunatics that they are, they just love to hurl names and insults at people. And, I'll bet you $1. I'll bet you $1, Bill, that you ask any Democrat, give me the full name of the Nazi party, of Adolf Hitler's party. Give me the full name of the party. See, well, it's the Nazi party. Well, but the full name, as you well know, Bill, is the National Socialist German Workers' Party, and that's in Germany, a Socialist Workers' Party, and it was national. We knew that. Then it became international, and that's where the problem started. And I'll bet you $1 that these fascists, not a damn one of them, including Kamala Harris, I'll bet $1 she couldn't give you the full name of the Nazi Party. If you were waterboarding her, she couldn't give you the name of the Nazi Party.
No, I'd bet my pension on that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a big bet. That's huge. And also, Bill, since you called in, I'm going back and forth with my friend Marty on this, too. And there was 1933 at Madison Square Garden. There was a gathering of Jewish Americans, the Jewish Congress. They convened in 1933 at Madison Square Garden, and they were protesting the deterioration of circumstances for Jews in Nazi Germany in 1933 during Hitler's rise to power, and he came to power as chancellor in 1933, right? And there was a protest calling on the FDR administration to stand up for the Jews in Germany because Hitler and the Socialist Workers' Party taking power. Now, maybe the Republican gathering is a little more like that, since you guys have your college students all over the country going around chanting from the river to the sea, let's wipe out the Jews because they're supporting the genocidal anti-Semites of Hamas and the Islamic Republic and so on. And there was also a gathering at Madison Square Garden in 1946, not long after the end of World War II. On April 20th of 1946, Jewish Americans also staged a massive protest at Madison Square Garden because the British government refused to implement the Anglo-American Committee of Inquiry unanimous recommendations and admit 100,000 Jews to Palestine. It was then a British protectorate known as Palestine because they grabbed it after World War I. And then at the end of World War II, let's move these Jews, 100,000 Jews from Europe, let's relocate them to their ancestral homeland of Israel, which was then the British protectorate of Palestine. So, and that was Harry Truman was president then. So a massive Jewish protest, Madison Square Garden, anti-Nazi gathering in 1933, another massive Jewish protest and gathering at Madison Square Garden in 1946. And what they were protesting was the progressive Democrat, again, FDR, put Japanese Americans into prison camps, into internment camps, detainment camps because of their race, and just amazing stuff. And this is not easy to find, this information. It's not readily available and at everybody's fingertips because the left, with their information dominance, they bury this stuff on the internet and make it hard to find because, like they do their own history, the Democrat Party's history of slavery and racism and rape and lynching and Jim Crow. We don't teach that in college, and we don't teach it certainly, I don't think we teach civics class at all in high school anymore. But isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. And
FDR, to a lesser degree, also put in camps some German Americans and Italian Americans.
And Italians too. That's absolutely right. 100% true. You're 100% right. And that's, we're more aware of the Japanese Americans that the Democrats put in concentration camps, less aware of the Italian Americans, American citizens all over the place, that FDR threw into concentration camps because of their ethnicity. There were Germans also. I think there were probably more Italians than Germans, but I haven't looked at this in a long time. I'm really glad you brought that up, Bill. And it's all the Democrats.
Right.
All of it. And now they're going around calling people fascist. Aren't they amazing? Yes, they are.
Like you said, their game plan is to accuse your opponent of what you yourself are actually doing.
The Russian playbook, and I played that sound bite yesterday of Victoria Nuland from the Obama State Department testifying on Capitol Hill, who kind of gave it away.
It is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy what they're planning to do themselves.
Bunch of fascists. So when they start calling you fascist, they're going full tilt fascist. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, stop putting people in concentration camps because of their race, you racist. Put down the bullwhip and the lynching tree, you bunch of lunatics, the Democrat Party. And if you're black and still voting Democrat, it's because you've been brainwashed and indoctrinated and you've heard the lie told 1,000 times and you think that it's become the truth. The front page of the Washington Times, again, Obama's influence slips among black voters. Many recollect a better Trump era. And Susan Ferriccio, the great Susan Ferriccio at the Washington Times out of Atlanta, former President Barack Obama's bid to bolster turnout for Vice President Kamala Harris is falling flat with some black voters. And Marcus Jean-Francois is one of them, the Haitian American who arrived in the United States more than 2 decades ago, voted twice for Mr. Obama. This year, he's supporting former President Donald Trump. Now, actually, we've got a couple of sound bites I want to share. Bill, thank you very much for the call, and thanks for being a thinking person. But we had last night on the Sean Hannity program on the Fox News Channel, they were talking to a Democrat voter. This guy was in Atlanta, and it was a man-on-the-street interview, and he's a young African-American or mixed-race guy, and a Democrat stopped to talk to the TV camera crew.
Did you vote outside? What, did you write somebody in? Or?
No, I'm a realist, but I'm a communist.
You're a realist and a communist?
Yeah.
So who did you vote for?
Kamala.
And a communist votes for Kamala because?
Because you have to be realistic, but still hold the ideals of communism, I'd say.
Yeah, got to be a realist communist. If you were a realist, you wouldn't be a communist. But you must be a moron, so you voted for Kamala Harris, and you're a Democrat, but you're a communist. Van Jones of the Obama White House and now of CNN, self-described as a communist last time anybody asked him. Then they stopped asking him because they don't think it's good PR. And then it was the Jesse Waters program. spoke to voters on the street in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, and they spoke to a nice African-American woman who was out and voted. I think she was out to vote because they're telling, hey, you're voting early, you're voting today. And here's this nice woman, a cheerful woman, who's voting and enjoying it.
Donald Trump or Kamala?
I love Donald Trump. We need him to sign off on stuff real quick.
He says he's going to be a dictator on day one.
Bring on that dictatorship.
Bring on that dictator. She's happy and cheerful. Bring on that. I said, but that's that whole he's going to be the lies that the Democrats tell you. Donald Trump was talking to Sean Hannity at a town hall, and he made a joke because the left was saying he's going to be a dictator. He had already been president for 4 years. There was nothing dictatorial about it. But it sounded like this.
You're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
It's a big joke, and everybody laughed and whistled and clapped. And, it's Donald Trump doing his Rodney Dangerfield thing. And, yeah, I'm going to be a dictator on day one. And I'm going to secure the border and drill, baby, drill. And then no more after that. And the Democrats are still saying, Kamala said it on CNN night before last. He said he's going to be a dictator. And, honestly, I just, these people, the lies are so big that no one would dare to not believe them, the big liars.
He who has openly admired dictators said he would be a dictator on day one.
Yeah, that's Kamala on CNN night before. They're still spilling these fatuous lies because they know they get away with it because they got the bootlick New York Times and the bootlick Washington Post and the bootlicks at CNN and beyond. And they get a tongue bath every day for their big, fat, fascist, fatuous lies. And again, Benito Mussolini described fascism as a merger of state and corporate power. And if you're looking for a merger of state and corporate power, look to the Democrat Party with all their billionaire oligarchs, in particular the billionaire information oligarchs. And they had their Jack Dorsey guy. This is why they want to imprison Elon Musk, which is what fascists do, by the way, and they're imprisoning their political enemies all over the place. I was listening to before George Papadopoulos, a Naval Academy grad, and Peter Navarro. Steve Bannon is in jail right now. They're threatening Elon Musk. They threaten FBI whistleblowers because they come out and tell the truth. And so the fascists jail their political enemies. Fascists spread disinformation and misinformation about you, like you're going to be a dictator on day one, to name just one. Isn't that amazing? These people. Also known as those people. Depends on where they're standing. Those people and these people. Hey, have you guys burned any police cars, maybe sacked any college campuses calling for the death of Israel lately while you call people fascists? Exterminate 40% of the black population in the womb every year in New York City and Washington, D.C. And, the actual Socialist Workers' Party exterminated about 60% of the Jewish population in Europe. And you guys exterminate 40% of the black population year after year, and you give out awards for it. Hillary Clinton and Jane Fonda got the award. Isn't that amazing? America's strength isn't just built, it's also worn. For those who put in the hours to get things done in America, G-Defy shoes are made for you, and they're made right for you. With patented VersaShock technology, G-Defy shoes, they don't just talk comfort, they engineer it. With every step you take, G-Defy shoes help to absorb harmful shock and provide trampoline-like energy return. Bottom of your feet, your arches. My best girl and I, we've each got a pair. They gave us pairs of shoes and hike around the city. Your feet feel better when you're done hiking than they did before you started hiking. Designed for hardworking people, for parents, for people that stand tall no matter what. All you have to do is go to gdefy.com and use the code CHRIS. That's me, CHRIS. And you're going to get $20 off your order of $100. That's the code CHRIS for $20 off your orders of $100 or more, because even champions need to rest, Go to gdefy.com today. Yes, sir. I haven't even gotten to all the Hillary fascist pig that she is. Did I say fascist pig that she is? Sorry, every now and then it's, Get a little enthusiastic, and the unvarnished truth comes out. Still more of Hillary lying coming up, and without interruption on CNN. All right. Shall we return to the telephones before the Democrats arrest us all and kill our children, put us in gulags, use the military to round us up? Bunch of fascist Nazis that they are. I'm sorry, I just slipped into Democrat mode there for a second. Let me switch back to reality land. Let's go to Chris calling from Illinois. Chris, you are on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for being there. I so appreciate it. I wanted to make a point that I think that the chickens have come home to roost for the Democrats who wanted to stop teaching teaching history in education. And so when Hillary invokes the 1939 Hitler speech at Madison Square Gardens, these young people, they don't have a clue. She might as well be talking about Paul Revere and George Washington. It doesn't mean anything to young people. And I say that because I'm a writing tutor at a local community college. And I can see the gaps in their education. They're not learning history. And so I'm just thinking that this Democrat strategy is going to fall flat.
Well, they have dumbed down public education for generations now. And it is amazing what people are not taught in school. And that includes college, as you are well aware, right?
Absolutely. I have one quick illustration. I had a student come into the writing center. Her task was to write about the importance of the First Amendment. And I promise you, I am not making this up. The first line was, the First Amendment is important because without it, life would be boring.
Very good. There you go. Wow. That sounds like a future Democrat Party member of Congress.
And I said, do you know what the First Amendment is?
The answer was obviously no.